Yo, what's up everyone, and welcome back to another Marvel's Spider-Man 2 video. Today we're going to be diving into a mystery that we have never gotten a clear answer on, and that is what happened to the Marvel's Spider-Man 2 DLC. Why didn't we get any additional story content? Well, we're going to be untangling this web of intrigue in today's video, but before I swing into it, I just want to say, if you are new here, hey, I am CBK. I cover mostly superhero games here on the channel. If that's something that you would be into, then definitely hit that subscribe button to keep up with all of the latest news, theories, and speculation for future superhero games. Alright, let's swing on into it. So let's set the scene. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 dropped in October of 2023, and Insomniac delivered a banger. Peter and Miles were teaming up, there was a playable Venom, there was a much bigger map, almost twice the size of the original, and Insomniac really hit the mark by adding in some highly requested features. But oh man, did that game set up some other potential storylines to be explored in the future. Remember Cletus Cassidy? Yeah, the dude who becomes Carnage. He snags a symbiote sample in the Flame side quest and just strolls off into the sunset, and I was just sitting there like, excuse me sir, where do you think you're going with that? It felt like Insomniac was winking at us saying, don't worry, we've got more coming. And it wasn't just Carnage, we had Yuri going full Wraith, we had hints of Green Goblin, which is probably going to be saved for the third game, and that whole Beetle tease from the accidentally leaked debug menu, which we're going to get into further later. I normally don't discuss leaks, but since it's confirmed that there's not going to be a Beetle DLC, I feel pretty comfortable talking about it in this video. The point is, this game was practically screaming DLC is on the way. The first Spider-Man game that we got had the City That Never Sleeps DLC with the expansion of Black Cat and Silver Sable, so we all assumed that Insomniac was cooking up something just as epic. I was ready to swing back into New York City faster than you can say pizza time. Alright, so let's just go ahead and talk about the evidence for the DLC. Earlier in 2024, there was an update to Marvel's Spider-Man 2 that accidentally left us the dev menu in the game, and players were able to find the whole Beetle villain arc. And at that point, it really wasn't wishful thinking anymore. It was right there. The DLC was clearly there. It was like a web line to the future. DLC is confirmed, Carnage is coming. I was over here planning my top 5 DLC suits wishlist video, fully expecting to get a handful of new suits with this DLC. And Insomniac's track record has been really solid up until that point. They cranked out Miles Morales pretty much right after they finished Marvel Spider-Man PS4, and really right after they finished the DLC for the game. So we figured that DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2 was in the near future. Everything pointed to yes, and we were hyped. But then, spoiler alert, Insomniac themselves confirmed that there was not going to be any additional story content planned for Marvel Spider-Man 2, which really threw cold water on all of the hype that we had for any DLC. The dream was officially dead. So the question is, what exactly happened to cause Insomniac to pull the plug on the DLC that they clearly were working on? Well, one thing to keep in mind is that there was a pretty big hack that happened to Insomniac Games a little over a year ago, and it's pretty possible that that did affect the development in some sort of way. There's no telling how much it affected Insomniac and what other games it possibly affected their development on. But here are just a couple of my other theories. First off, it could be possible that there was a plan for DLC and that the story for said DLC just didn't fit in well with the future plans Insomniac had for other future Marvel Spider-Man games. But what could even be more likely is that Insomniac decided to pivot, and instead of focusing on these smaller storylines for a DLC, perhaps they found a way to include them into a much bigger story. For example, I feel as if most of you guys would agree that Carnage is far more deserving of a bigger spotlight than just a DLC that's going to be a few hours long. Like perhaps maybe even a standalone Venom game. This makes more sense than cramming a character like that into a DLC. And as for the Beatles storyline, I do think that this DLC was going to be centered around Miles Morales, as Peter is now taking a break from being Spider-Man. Could it at all be possible that this Beatles storyline could be used for another smaller scale standalone Miles Morales game? I'm kind of just spitballing here, but I'm trying to have some sort of silver lining. I guess these theories just sound a lot better than Insomniac completely abandoning something that they were already working on. Regardless, I do not think it's possible for Insomniac to shove Carnage into Marvel Spider-Man 3, as that game is already going to have some heavy hitting villains, and there's going to be a lot to really cover in that game, and they're really completely closing out a trilogy, so I don't think that throwing Carnage into that really would work. So honestly, the fact that there was no DLC for Carnage really makes me optimistic that a Venom game could be very possible. Carnage and Venom kind of go hand in hand, and it just makes sense for Carnage to be in a Venom game. And that is something that I am absolutely here for. I'm dying for a Venom game. So I guess all in all, my silver lining in all of this is that possibly maybe these storylines that were going to be used for the DLC were going to be better served in future Marvel Spider-Man projects, for example, a Venom game. I would be 100% backing that decision if they decided to skip out on DLC, use some of these storylines for a Venom game. I am here for that. And if Insomniac is doing that, then I think that they made the right decision. But I guess we'll never really know what exactly happened to the DLC. All we can do from here is just speculate. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, definitely hit that thumbs up. That is going to be it for me on this one, and I will catch you guys on the next video.